Greetings, my esteemed subscribers. Today I'm going to do a book review of Start Your Own Corporation by Garrett Sutton. To give you some background, I discovered this book by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and I did a book review on this, so check it out. I will link it in the description below if you haven't watched it before. But anyway, the main message of Rich Dad Poor Dad is that the truly wealthy derive their wealth from owning cash-generating assets, while everyone else trade their time for money in the form of a salary. And Rich Dad Poor Dad is more theoretical, is more big picture. It teaches you the essentials of how to truly be financially independent and truly be wealthy, but it doesn't really give you a technical and practical guide of how to build your businesses and how to build your portfolio of assets. So, during Rich Dad Poor Dad, inside the book, Robert Kiyosaki, the author, recommended to check out Garrett Sutton, who writes books about how to actually start your own business. And that is why I bought Start Your Own Corporation by Garrett Sutton. Start Your Own Corporation is a practical guide to Rich Dad Poor Dad, whereas Rich Dad Poor Dad focuses on the big picture strategy. Start Your Own Corporation gives you the technical and practical details of how to actually start your own business. And it is a helpful guide, in my opinion, because it teaches you the business entities available to you in the United States. And it also goes over important topics such as business tax deductions, corporate formalities, how to build corporate credit, corporate insurance, how to raise money for your business, and a lot of helpful topics when you start your own business. So I think it's a helpful guide. I will say that, in my opinion, the first 3 chapters of the book is the most important, especially if you're an aspiring business owner or an entrepreneur, because the first 3 chapters go over the legal business entities available to you in the United States. And it also explains why it is so important to incorporate your business as a legal business entity. And the reason why is you need to limit your liability and protect your assets, which incorporation allows you to do. So the 4 business entities available to you in the United States are C corporations, S corporations, limited liability companies or LLCs, and limited partnerships or LPs. And the book explains in detail each one of these entities, which is very helpful for readers. And I think knowing how these entities work and which one works for which situation is essential knowledge for every aspiring business owner or entrepreneur. And that is why I think the first 3 chapters are so important. Another thing I want to point out about the book is that it uses case studies to explain a lot of concepts. And I think this is very important. If you've ever studied business or went to business school, you know that case studies are essential because business, at the end of the day, is a practical skill. And while you can learn about the theories and abstract concepts, you need to know how they actually work in real life. And case studies allow you to understand how they work in real life. So while the book does go over the technical details and the abstract concepts, Garrett Sutton always applies them to case studies so you know how they work in real life, and I think that's very helpful. Also, I think the first 3 chapters, like I said, are essential information, and later on the book gets more technical, it gets more specific into different legal issues, different issues with running your business, like raising money, having corporate formalities, and choosing directors, all of these things. And I think, although it does get technical, it's still important to know, even if you're an executive or you're a business owner who's more focused on the doing business side of things, because these things are important for business and it's helpful to know. However, at the end of the day, I think in reality, when you actually carry out this stuff and carry out your business, you'll have experts helping you to do all these things and handle all these details, because these details require the work of experts. So you need professional lawyers and professional accountants to do a lot of the things that are discussed later in the book, in the later chapters of the book. And I think it would be foolish for you not to rely on experts when you're dealing with things like audits, tax filings, lawsuits, etc. Because these are the work of professionals, and you shouldn't be relying on yourself to do something that is very technical and requires a lot of prior study, which lawyers and accountants have done through their education and through what they have learned to gain their license. And also, I think as an executive, you shouldn't be bogged down with these things. You shouldn't be bogged down with tax filings, audits, lawsuits, etc. But instead, you should be focused more on the doing business side of things instead. My biggest criticism for this book is that it focuses solely on the United States. It only talks about your options in the United States, which states are the best to incorporate. So I think this is very limiting for a lot of people because the United States is not necessarily the best country to incorporate. And there are many overseas strategies that can give you better options that the book does not discuss. And I think there are a lot of people who are primarily focused outside of the United States, and there are people who don't even want to do business in the United States at all. And that is why I think this is a shortcoming for the book, because it doesn't have a global perspective. And even if you are primarily focused on the United States and your business is mostly in the United States, or maybe all of it is in the United States, I think knowing these overseas strategies is also going to help you and also going to provide you with better options. And if you think about it, a lot of multinationals, even though their primary country of operation is the United States, they domicile overseas to take advantage of more business-friendly laws. And I think not discussing how business-friendly a lot of other countries are is a shortcoming for the book. So that's my big criticism for the book, but otherwise, overall, I think the book is very helpful for aspiring business owners and entrepreneurs, especially if you haven't started a business before. And especially the first 3 chapters are very helpful. You need to know which business entities are available to you, and that is essential information. For the later chapters, they're pretty helpful, but once again, you'll probably have experts do them for you. But it's helpful to know, and even though you should be more focused on the doing business side of things as an executive, it's still helpful to know these details. And lastly, I think although it doesn't have a global perspective, it does give you a good idea of how to start a corporation, which is the goal of the book. So thank you for watching. Check out my Medium article where I wrote a book review about this book, and it might be helpful for people who like to consume things in the written form. And follow me on Medium. Also follow me on TikTok because I make short videos about the same topics I talk about on YouTube. Also follow me on Instagram if you want to connect with me, ask me any questions. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I talk about business, money, and self-improvement. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.